Charles Vernon and Erica Wazen with the third movement of Halsey Stevens' Sonatina for bass trombone, which is perfect segue here in the Diamond Lane with me, your host, Sarah Jo, to get into talking about this week's Trombone Festival. Here in Winnipeg, 3 trombone ensembles are gathering together Saturday to premiere Winnipeg composer Kenley Kristofferson's Prairie Trombone Suite, the Manitoba Trombone Collective, the North Dakota Trombone Choir, and trombonists from Brandon University will unite. This starts at 7 o'clock at Grace Christian Church at 50 Barnes Street. And I have composer Kenley Kristofferson and conductor Joel Green here in the studio. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Make sure you just embrace the microphone.
There we go.
Whoever talks. I mean, you can get nice and cozy around it if you wish. I mean, that's quite lovely.
How well do we know each other?
Yeah, well, I mean, you make music together, right? I mean,
That's
that's more than a lot of people do. So, hey, tell us a little bit about how the Trombone Festival, at least the Winnipeg chapter, got started.
Well, it was kind of a project that was going on. It was actually spearheaded by Chris Lalonde, who's kind of our administrative coordinator for the group.
Okay.
And it was a casual thing starting last year that we would just get together once or twice a year and kind of read through some trombone repertoire because that's what trombonists like to do in our spare time. And so I went up to him after one of the rehearsals and kind of said, hey, I would be interested in conducting this. And would you be interested in making it kind of a more regular thing? And he kind of looked at me like, have you been reading my mind?
Awesome.
And so we decided to start this thing up, and we just were, again, like once a month and kind of creating an environment where any trombonist from Winnipeg could come and play. And so we have some university students, and we have a lot of music teachers, and we have retired professional trombone players and current professional trombone players. And it's a really great mix that really represents the diversity of the Winnipeg music community. And then Chris ran into the professor from the University of North Dakota, and they got to talking about trombone things, and Chris said, "Oh, well, I've started a group up in Winnipeg. You guys should come up." and Dr. Pugh, who's the professor at University of North Dakota, went, "Okay." And he kind of went, "Oh, that's not what I was expecting." And then the whole thing just kind of snowballed from there.
That is the Midwestern collaborative attitude, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? Joel, tell us a little bit about what you do with the rest of your time. Yes, you're a trombonist, and I have seen you play often with the Dirty Catfish Brass Band.
Yes.
Yes, but you also are a full-time Air Forcer.
Yes.
Is that right?
My full-time job is the trombonist with the Royal Canadian Air Force.
Excellent.
And then I play with a bunch of groups around town, Winnipeg Jazz Collective and Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, and pretty much anyone who correctly dials my phone number. But
that's the life of a working musician.
Absolutely. But yeah, definitely Dirty Catfish Brass Band is one of my main and favorite projects for sure.
Awesome. Well, Kenley, let's have a chat with you, because I mean, we just kind of known each other sort of through the ether of Twitter and stuff. And I mean, I've listened to quite a few of your compositions before. I know that you are a music educator and you're out in Selkirk. That's right.
True story.
Tell us how it is teaching music in Selkirk before we get to your massive compositional skill.
Oh heavens! Teaching music's really great. It's such a fun way to spend a day. When I think about people in cubicles with spreadsheets, and like that's really cool for them, but like I would much rather make music with really awesome people all day, and that's what I get to do.
Yeah.
Running a music program is having a little community of musicians, people who want to be there, people who need a place to identify. So when they come into the performing arts, or they might come in as a band kid, and then they start singing, and then they're on stage, and you have all these kids who get to discover themselves artistically at a really volatile and exciting time of their lives. And imagine knowing what you wanted to do at age 16, at age 18. I mean, like, gosh, like, I don't know if I knew what I wanted to do at age like 30. So it's really exciting for these kids to have a place to be and to help make them better, because they want to be better. They really like music. They really like making music with each other, with their friends. And they need someone to kind of just guide them into becoming better, because sometimes you can practice, but you don't always know what to practice and what to do next. So, I mean, our job as educators is really just to kind of show them the stones in front of each step. Is that they walk forward, and then you say, now walk here, and now walk here. And then by the end of it, they've walked miles and miles of music, which is really exciting.
That is really exciting. Are you also a trombonist?
I am a classically trained euphonium player who dabbles in trombone.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds very exciting. So tell us how this massive trombone work came to be, because we were talking about it just a little bit earlier, and you have a roster so far of 42 trombonists.
That's right.
Who are going to be joining you on Saturday at 7 o'clock at Grace Christian Church. So tell us how that genesis came together.
Absolutely. I met Chris Lalonde, the admin assistant for the collective, during my and his stint in the Royal Winnipeg Rifles Band. Oh. And so we played together when I was in university. And he said, I'd love to do a trombone thing sometime. And I said, great. And then at the Symphony, when the WSO did my premiere in 2014, he said, hey, I still want to do that trombone thing. Yeah. And then we forgot about it for a little while longer. And then at another premiere, he said, okay, we're really going to do it this time. Okay. So here, we're applying for grants, and he got the ball rolling. And he'd done all the paperwork, and I said, okay, well, let's go for it.
It's convenient.
And yeah, so then we did it, and he's really excited about it. I hear it's been on his bucket list for a little while to do a trombone, a Manitoba-born trombone choir piece. So we knew each other for a long time now, a decade probably, and it's so exciting that we get to do it together. Two people of like minds, and he's a way better trombone player than I am. But it's so great that we get together and make this new exciting music for this instrument.
Yeah. Okay. So this Prairie Trombone Suite, how is it structured? Just because as a premiere, when you're doing something brand new, you never quite know what to expect. Tell us a little bit about the shape, the color of the piece.
Absolutely. So Chris and I talked about how we would approach it, because it's going to be a suite for sure, like an 8-minute suite.
Right.
So we decided to approach it like a day with the big sky is kind of this prairie symbol, which we all identify with.
Totally.
So it begins with sunrise as trombone 8 holds this low F, and then the trombones cluster up.
Trombone 8.
Yeah, trombone 8. I know. And then they cluster up one by one as they add harmonic colors and the lines start moving, just kind of as the sunrise emerges from night. And then all 8 trombones climax and measure 21 or so, and in this big forte chord, just as the sun is peeking over the horizon, and then we move into something exciting happening on the prairies, which to me is kids getting into shenanigans. So rollicking in the wheat fields, playing on the bales, going too close to the railroad tracks, that kind of thing. So it starts out with this theme of a kid getting into trouble. Then the more themes come in and more kids join in the trouble, because it's Stand By Me, kids getting into trouble, and then it gets really fast and fun and exciting and folksy. And then at the end of the trouble, it's getting to nighttime, and the night begins very slowly, like the sun sets very slowly in the prairies. You get to watch the sun go down for a long time, and so it winds up with these really wide open voiced chords that slowly wind down. The piece slowly softens. The dynamics slowly wind down to piano until you have only one trombone left, and it's dark.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Can't wait to. Well, I wish I could come in here, and I really would. But for our listeners who will be able to be there, I can't wait for them. I'm very excited. So, Joel, you're conducting this work. Are you also playing?
Actually, this work, because it's the massed group that's doing it, it's going to be all of the trombone choirs. We have Dr. Fraser Linkletter is going to be conducting the massed trombone choir. So
nice.
some classical music listeners may be familiar with that name. So he's been absolutely great. He's going to be conducting this piece and Song for Japan, which is something of a trombone anthem at this point, and another piece called Thaxt, which is a variation on Holst's famous theme from the planets. I won't give too much away, so he's going to be conducting those 3, and then I'll be conducting the Manitoba Trombone Collective in our 3 pieces.
Excellent. I just had a brilliant question, then of course it left my noggin about. Oh, that's what it was. Okay, so with such a group of such large and dynamic instruments, what is the biggest challenge? I would think balance would be a challenge. You're performing this at Grace Christian Church,
yes.
and so is it a boomy space? Is it a live space?
It's actually a great space for brass. Richard Gillis has spearheaded several concerts there,
right.
With brass community of mixed trombones and trumpets and all kinds of great stuff. And it's actually a a perfectly like great resonant space, but not super boomy. So I'm actually really looking forward to hearing that many trombones. Just because of the range that trombone can operate in, there's so many different sounds that a trombone ensemble can make, and especially with Kenley's piece, he's fantastic at drawing those textures out and really like putting the pretty chords and the pretty ranges and making it all sound really meaty. So I think it's going to sound fantastic in there.
Well, it's nice when you have a composer who sort of at least knows his way around an instrument, regardless of you being a euphonium player and dabbling only in trombone.
He's being modest. I played beside him the other day. He does pretty well.
Okay, well, it's good to be modest. It's good to be modest. Well, hey, I want to remind people also that there is a charity that is also going to be benefiting from this. Let's talk about Hands of Hope for a moment.
Yeah, it's a great charity that's actually through the church, and we're really happy to be able to donate to it. It's essentially they give food and donations and furniture to financially disadvantaged families in Winnipeg. So it's kind of circular that we're this Manitoba Trombone Collective Winnipeg. We're all Winnipeg residents, and we're trying to build this community within Winnipeg of musicians. We're doing this Winnipeg Prairie created piece, and then we're actually able to give back to the Winnipeg community as well. So we're hoping for a really good crowd so we can give them a whole bunch of money.
Right. So this group, please come and join them and donate. Tickets are $10 at the door, of course, in support of Hands of Hope, this group that gives furniture and household items to people that really, truly need it. Here in the studio, Kenley Kristofferson and Joel Green, composer and conductor and both trombonists and other brass players. We are going to play a little dose of the Manitoba Trombone Collective to whet people's appetites.
Yes.
Would you like to introduce what we're about to play?
Yes, this is the rag from a piece called Old Toronto Suite, which we will be performing in the Manitoba Trombone Collective's portion of tomorrow's concert. It's written by a Toronto composer named Nick Francis, who is a friend of mine, and we met in 1997 for the first time, I think. He's now a high school teacher at West. And it's based off of, I don't want to get too much into the talk that I'm going to give before we play it tomorrow. But it's based on various aspects of the old city of Toronto.
Excellent. Well, folks, we will leave it there, and we're going to indulge in a little bit of music. Remember, the Trombone Celebration, 7 p.m. on Saturday at Grace Christian Church at 50 Barnes Street, featuring Kenley Kristofferson's brand new work, Prairie Trombone Suite, featuring 3 ensembles of trombones, 42 trombones. Amazing. I can't believe this is happening in Winnipeg. And enjoy this Toronto Suite, and hopefully they'll see you on Saturday.